After collecting my thoughts, because I genuinely couldn't handle myself for the last few days, which is why pushing this video out late, I'm still kind of in a state of shock in regards to Xbox purchasing Activision Blizzard. And if you somehow haven't heard about that, yeah, that's a thing. Activision and Xbox, I guess, came to a deal where Xbox is gonna acquire Activision Blizzard and everything under that umbrella for like almost $70 billion. Okay, I mean, they bought Bethesda for 8. This is 70 billion. Like, blows my mind. And so I'm not really here to talk about that in specific, the details. There's much better coverage out there about that, but I did want to share my opinions and kind of what I'm thinking or hoping will come from this for the Xbox community that I very luckily jumped in this generation. If you don't know me, I'm starting to collect for PlayStation. Ignore my stuff back there for now, but still a mess. But I am planning on collecting PlayStation and going on with that. But for the majority of my life, I've been, on PlayStation. I kind of just committed with that because one, it's all my family could really afford, and two, I just, I didn't really see a purpose. Xbox had no games, and exclusives came, third-party games, came out on both platforms, and Blu-ray player and all this, sort of stuff that you would typically hear from a Sony pony, I guess is the term. So it's just crazy to me that, I decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna buy the Series S and I'm gonna jump in and give it a shot, and I love it. I'm like, wow, this is amazing, and here we are. Right, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the Bethesda games. I've played Fallout 4, I've played Skyrim, I've played a little bit of New Vegas. I actually haven't played a Doom game, so don't come after me for that. But if that's something you want to watch, then let me know, and I will probably stream that for you guys. But yeah, Activision, oh my god, okay, so first and foremost, I want to get this out of the way. I do not believe Call of Duty will continue to be a multi-platform game going forward. There's no reason. You don't spend $70 billion and not, take full advantage of it. That's not chump change, okay? The $8 billion was kind of a joke. Oh, that's just pocket change, that's just the change from under the seat cushions in their lobbies, like whatever. But $70 billion, they had to pull out their wallet for that. Not in the sense of writing a check from a bank account, but that was just their spending money, I believe. I mean, you have to think of how big Microsoft as a corporation is. And where they really get their money from is their government contracts. I mean, governments are still using Windows. I think they're on Vista now, but as far as I know, they're not using Windows 10 or 11 or anything like that, to my knowledge. And that's just one little aspect, right? They got their hands in so many pockets. And so there's this fear, I understand, of it becoming a monopoly of Xbox as a gaming division, becoming this just monster in the industry. And I don't think that's the case. I don't see Activision and everything that comes with that, which is a lot. You've got Call of Duty, you've got World of Warcraft, you've got StarCraft, you've got Candy Crush. I'm pretty sure Candy Crush is like the biggest revenued game on the App Store alone. I don't know about Google Play, I'm an iOS user. So you've got the Candy Crush, and that's huge. It may seem dumb to people like maybe you and me, maybe we don't play that. Maybe you do, but I don't. So Candy Crush or whatever for me. But I know a lot of people that do. I know a lot of casual people that look at video games like it's a monster and video games are bad and for kids, but they're playing Candy Crush and spending money. So from those people to people like that put hours and hours of gameplay into World of Warcraft, they got the whole spectrum. Okay, that's what is really blowing my mind with this. And I'm talking with my hands a lot because I'm excited, as you can tell. But dude, I can't. Okay, so the monopoly thing of it, I don't see that being a. I don't agree with that being. They're not a monopoly. I don't agree with that at all. One thing though is this exclusivity part of it. Now you have to understand that there are contracts already in place, and that is a legal issue and a payment issue and a mess if this deal closes, which I believe is set to close. I think I heard in April. Don't quote me on that. But mid this year and starting in 2023 going forward, we'll see a lot of these games becoming just exclusives and they're for Xbox. So, but for now, I do believe that this Call of Duty for 2022 is going to come to all the platforms. Warzone is going to stay multi-platform. I heard an argument on Twitter, someone saying that Call of Duty makes the most money on PlayStation because whatever, and there's three factors I think people aren't really looking at when it comes to that specific thing. I guarantee that if you were to look at the entire franchise on PlayStation, I would bet good money that Warzone is what's bringing in that money. Honestly. And Warzone, I fully expect to stay multi-platform. I think that there's no reason to, unless they, you might see specific in-game content that's exclusive to Xbox or whatever. But overall, I think Warzone is going to be the de facto free-to-play anywhere sort of thing. And it's going to be those annual releases that are going to become, Xbox exclusives going forward. The second thing that you have to think about is they play Call of Duty the most because they have nothing else. On Xbox, we have Halo, we have Gears of War, we have first-person shooters and shooter games in general that get the job done, right? If you're on Xbox and you have Game Pass, you're probably playing Halo Infinite if you want to play a first-person shooter, especially because Halo Infinite has been significantly better of a game than Call of Duty thus far. I mean, Halo Infinite launched almost flawlessly. It has its issues, not saying it's perfect, but when you look at that compared to Vanguard, that's a hot mess, and a lot of Xbox users just probably don't want to touch that. Also, the install base is smaller. PlayStation has more players, Xbox doesn't by default, so that's a factor. But once this all gets set into motion, I'm sure we're going to see more people pick up a Series S, which is, again, Xbox, it's the best-selling Xbox, right? Xbox is sitting on their own little gold mine with the Series S because it gets a lot of players, even PlayStation people like me, okay, to just jump into Xbox for $300. It's like, okay, I have a Nintendo Switch, I have a PS5, I have whatever, and I'm sitting here like, do I get the Switch OLED or should I say $50 and get, the Series S, right? If I'm looking to upgrade or something, if I'm like, hey, I got some money. Tax season is Among Us. Speaking of which, Among Us just came to Game Pass. That's cool. Now, with that being said, all these other titles. Now, I've heard other things like saying, oh, well, maybe World of Warcraft will come to Xbox, and I think that's a little crazy. I mean, potentially, maybe you'll see some crossover stuff, right? Maybe some Halo or World of Warcraft stuff in like Forza or something for some reason. I don't know, but that whole thing, I saw someone reply to that on Twitter, and I didn't understand that. But you never know. You never know. With everything said and done, I'm really excited. I think this is the best time to join Xbox. If you haven't, if you're still sitting there on one console or whatever, or you're sitting there and you're wasting this away because, I mean, maybe you don't care about Call of Duty. That's sure, but the IPs that come with Activision, such as something like Crash Bandicoot, okay, going forward now, it's not as big as it used to be, but if you're a big PlayStation, person, and then you like Crash Bandicoot, that's something that you now have to potentially going forward will have to get on Xbox. Now, as of right now, nothing is set in stone. They just announced the deal. They just announced that they came to a deal. There's still paperwork. There's still contracts to sift through with external companies and all this sort of stuff. And there's a lot to be done. But as of right now, going forward, it's just the ball is rolling. And, a lot of people will sit there and backlash Xbox or Activision saying like, this isn't fair, this isn't right, but this is, to put it short, this is capitalism, this is business, and that's just what it is. Another note that I do want to put out there and very softly touch on because I don't want to get into it too much, but two things that I've seen a lot of is Sony and Microsoft, or Xbox and PlayStation. They both kind of agreed to kind of not mess with Activision. They kind of both publicly announced, I think it was via Twitter or some maybe just kind of a press event or something, But they kind of both publicly stated that, like, we don't like what's going on with Activision. We don't condone those kind of actions, so we're not going to mess with that, right? But then you got Microsoft and Xbox over here literally doing the opposite of that. I mean, yeah, they're not going to do business with them, okay? They're just going to outright own them. And that could be a good and bad thing. On one side, it's a bad thing because they kind of just slapped PlayStation in the face. If you really think about it, this could potentially be bigger than when Nintendo backstabbed Sony in the first place, which is what caused PlayStation. So, just put that into perspective. I mean, you never know. PlayStation likes to hold grudges, and I think to this day, they're probably still salty about that. They like to be face up on Twitter all the time. I see Xbox posting and PlayStation posting, congratulations on 20 years. Oh, the best place to play is your platform of choice, right? That's like front of getting along and trying, but they're businesses. If you really believe that the quote unquote console wars isn't a thing, no, they're not marketing it like it used to be, right? Nintendo does, or Genesis does what Nintendo don't. We're not there anymore, but we're still in this competition in the sense of their businesses. You can't ignore that, right? So to pretend that everything's good and fine, that causes the gaming landscape to get boring. And up until this point, it has been kind of boring, not gonna lie. We've gotten some good releases, but there hasn't been crazy stuff happening that kind of gets gamers excited. And this gets me excited because now I'm waiting to see what PlayStation does in return. And to keep in mind, I own all the systems, okay? It's not like I'm saying, oh yeah, PlayStation, you suck, blah, 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 or whatever. Like, that's not the case. What I'm saying is this causes competition, and competition causes ideally better products, better services, right? What is Sony going to do to say, hey, you have Activision, but we got this? You know, maybe it's the VR. Maybe they double down on VR and say, you know what? We don't need all that. We got this. You never know. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave it. Oh, another thing that I wanted to point out actually before we go is I'm really hoping that with once Phil Spencer and that whole team has the full grabs, once they got everything going, they're going to fix what's going on in Activision. I thoroughly believe when Phil Spencer states that, you know, he himself has no tolerance for this. I don't think that's just, you know, corporate speak. I don't think that's just good public relations. I think he genuinely looks like the kind of guy that is like, hey, this isn't right. We need to fix this. It's not unacceptable, right? So anyone in that mess, I think as of right now, I've heard that they're planning to keep the Bobby dude on and all that junk, the CEO of Activision, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't see that happening. It doesn't make sense. I think Phil's going to kick him out, and we're going to, you know, we're going to be rolling once they get settled and everything's good to go. And I'm excited to see what that Microsoft money does for titles like Call of Duty and you know, just their games in general. Tony Hawk, Guitar Hero, like all these older titles could be even coming to Game Pass. So even while they're still working on new games and coming out with new IPs, and, you know, Xbox Game Studios gets to kind of coincide with Activision and Beanox and you know, whoever else, whatever, I don't know, they got some Toys for Bob or something like that. Like, they got so many. And once they integrate, it's going to be ideally amazing, right? If Halo Infinite is a testament of what Xbox Game Studios can do, if they can put even a percentage of that into Activision or those, you know, sub names that they now hold, like, it's gonna be really great games coming out. And hopefully to tide us over, they start bringing in some of these older titles, right? Maybe they have titles that were ready, but they couldn't renew licenses with Activision because whatever reason. Now they can maybe just go in and take them and put them on. We'll see. Anyway, with that said, I'm gonna get out of here. So thanks for watching. If you've made it to the end, please subscribe. It helps me a ton. It shows me that you guys want to see more of this. Drop a like if you think this video was good, if you like my opinions. Maybe you don't. Dislike it. Let me know in the comments though, either way. Let me know what you think. Tell me if you're excited, if you're maybe even scared. I've seen a lot of weird things going on the internet here, and it's a mixed thing. This has been kind of splitting players worse than some political things going on in the world. So we're gonna see kind of how this goes going forward. And yeah, like I said, if you guys have any games you want me to see, play. I haven't played Doom. There's a lot of Xbox games specifically I haven't played. I have beaten through Gears of War and Halo so far over on Twitch. So let me know, and I will go ahead and jump on Twitch and play that, or maybe YouTube is preference. So if you have a game and you have a preference of platform, let me know that as well, and I'll figure that out. We'll figure something out. But yeah, subscribe, like, comment, all the fun stuff, and Twitter, all the links, everything will be down below. My DMs are open. Go ahead and shoot me a message if you got something to say. You wanna send me a death threat? Go for it. DMs are open. I'm more than welcome to them. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.